to Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Wholesale Hotline!
Are you ready to rock? Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 287. We are coming to you broadcasting live from all around the country. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, joined by the incredible Jerry Norton today. And I think we might have some other guests on later today. We'll see, or some other hosts, I should say, on later today, but we'll see how that all shakes out. But I'm excited this week, Jerry. I'm really, really, really excited. I'm excited because September always feels like it's a turning point. Mid-September always feels like, the summertime's, coming to a close. All the buyers are back in town. We're getting a lot more reaction and a lot more conversations to the deals that we're putting out there. Even sellers are coming out of the woodworks. We seem to have an uptick in leads that kind of pop up in January. Do you have certain times of the year that happens to you, Jerry?
Yeah, September is usually a really good month. Yeah, you're so right about that. It's just, I think people getting back into the groove of things. January is another, for me anyway, January seems to be another good month, kind of that new year. It's like, oh crap, I spent a bunch of money I shouldn't have on Christmas. I better go make some money now. So, interest comes back, buyers get back looking at properties and things. And don't forget, we're supposed to get a rate cut any day now, I think. Is it the 16th tomorrow, is it?
Okay.
And talk on the street is it could be, it'll at least be a quarter point. It might be 50 basis points. So, that should probably spur some activity in the market, should get some buyers excited and maybe get the real estate market moving a little bit too. So we'll
explain this to me, because the mortgage-backed securities are an asset class. And, obviously that's based off of the interest that those mortgages are getting. So there's something about like treasury bonds and interest rates might drop, but it might not be for like mortgages. Do you know anything about that, Jerry?
Well, typically the mortgages follow that. So if you see a drop there, then we'll see one in mortgage interest rates as well. And, I think one of the things is I've kind of been watching this and getting a lot of different opinions around this. There's a lot of talk that if interest rates can get down low enough, then, we'll see a real spur in activity in the market and real estate values, buyers coming out, things moving. But I don't know that we're going to see it. I mean, I really don't think we have to hedge inflation, obviously. And I think the market's just doing better than people think. And I just don't think we're going to see big cuts in the interest rates. I mean, we might not see another rate cut this year now after this, and maybe next year a little bit. But, I think everyone needs to kind of normalize where we're at and do traditional real estate where it's like, find a good deal, make sure your comps are realistic. Don't project any future value increases. Go off of historical data, not future projected data. Back to the basics is kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. You guys, you always have to remember, you make money when you buy. Right. That is like rule number one, maybe location, but rule number two is you make money when you buy. So make sure that you're getting real aggressive out there. I had the talk today at the Investor Fuel Mastermind that we both virtually went in there, and I had a list of 10 things, and I'll go through them real quick here. 10 things that I went through to build a successful business in a boring market. Do you mind if I go through these?
I did 10 things too. 10 was the magic number today.
That's it. Well, great minds think alike, Brent. Let me put this on here, Brent, and see if I can get this thing. Well, I'll just go through it because it's not pulling up. But number one is real deals only, right? Only real deals, guys. If you don't know if it's a deal or not a deal, it's probably not a deal. Okay. If there's like, some question in your mind, stick to the 50, 35, 10. If it's over 250,000 on Zillow, you want to be 50% of that number. If it's between 250 and 100, you want to be at 35%. And if you're under 100,000, you want to be at 10%. And guys, this is for ugly houses. This is for houses that need significant renovation. This isn't for beautiful houses that are out there that people should just put on the market and sell it and be aggressive with their listing on the market. But these, we're talking about really, these properties need significant.
Say it again, Brent. Under 250, you want to be at 50%.
So 250 and above, 50% of Zillow.
Okay.
250
above.
to 100, 35. And below 100,000, 10%. Okay. I can pull that up here in my computer so everybody can see that. Let me go here and share the screen, and we'll pull this up here, share. And right here, guys, you could take a picture of it. Let me get it. Where are you? Here it is. Offer price estimator right there. If this estimate is 250 or more, 50%, 249,999 to 100,000, 35, and 100,000 or less, 10%. Use those rules right now.
Those are great.
Okay. The next one is throw away all non-motivated leads. Throw away all non-motivated leads. Don't try to convince anybody to sell right now. They need to have that internal pressure that they are ready to sell because of whatever their goal is for that property. It has to be an internal pressure that they feel themselves. All right. Throw away anybody that's not motivated. Increase the quality of your lead generation. This means it's not about spraying and praying out there. Go ahead.
Is that number 3?
Number 3. Yeah. Increase your quality lead generation. All right. Don't like this is getting very specific on really, really, really great lists. Your driving for dollar list, your properties that are 2 years past due on their property taxes list, like these lists that there is true motivation there. All right. Next, aggressive follow-up on your lost leads.
Brent, turn your screen off. Your
this thing.
Yeah, you don't need that.
The screen share.
Well, you don't need that slide up anymore.
I was just leaving it up there because people wanted a little more info. But aggressive lead follow-up on your lost leads. All right, guys. This is somebody outbids you, somebody out-rapports you, somebody out-relationships you, and they go too high in their price, and 50% of those deals are falling out. 50% of those deals are falling out. So do not fall into that. Make sure that you're offering the right price and make sure that you are the backup offer when those inevitably fall out. All right. Next, guys, 2021, there was 90,000 of us, 90,000 wholesalers and flippers. Now there's 12,000. Okay. There's 12,000. Congratulations. You made it. But with that being said, adopt other people's failing business leads. If they have a book of business or they have leads that they've been following up on and now they're doing crypto and now they're doing, TikTok online shopping stores or whatever they're doing, right? Go and see if you can adopt the old dead leads and do a split with them, 15, 20%. Give them 15, 20%. Now you've got a bunch of leads that you can go after. All right. Next, number 6, you need to get referrals from your title company and closing attorney. All right. This is going to be critical because they know who's actually doing business. Who are the biggest buyers? Who are the biggest money lenders? Who are the best at doing the at working with agents? Who are the best agents out there that you can work with? All those things you need to get referrals from title companies. All right. Number 7 is tighten your team. If somebody's out there and they're not going 100 miles an hour in this market, get rid of them. Get rid of them. There's excess, that VA that's not doing anything that you have, they're really nice and they're working, and they're doing the thing, but nothing's coming out of that relationship. Get rid of them. You got to tighten your team.
Brent, I call this trim the fat. I have a once a month meeting and we call it trim the fat.
Yeah.
And it's basically not just team, but all expenses. Like go through with a fine tooth comb everything you're spending money on that month and ask yourself, do we need this? Is this critical to the business? And if it's not, get rid of it. Get your overhead down.
That's it. Keep more cash. Keep more cash right now, guys. Keep more cash. This isn't the time to go out there, get a big deal and go buy that crazy car or that crazy like vision board thing that you have. This isn't the year. There will be years where you will have vision board years. And even though you make it, keep the cash. Stay super disciplined right now. Stay super, super disciplined. Put that money into your marketing. Put that into getting top tier A+ players. Do those things. Okay. Next is testimonials are gold. Guys, if you can't get a 5-star Google review out of everybody that you do business with, you're screwing up. You're screwing up. You're being too hidden. You're being in the shadows. It's weird. Like, you need to be loud. You need to build great relationships, and you need to be proud of the service that you provide. And
Brent,
once you get those,
can I add to that testimonials?
Yeah.
This is how you become a market expert too, because you will start to get branded and recognized in your market as a player, as the real deal. And you have to remember, one of the things with the algorithm for presence is ratings and reviews and testimonials. Nothing shouts out your name louder than those things in the marketplace. So like you have to, every single closing, get those.
That's right. And the last one is, remember this, you start out in hustle season, you start reaching out, being proactive, and then you move into marketing where people are reaching out to you, and then you move into referrals, right? There's going to be a nice combination at the end of this journey where you're just getting free deals because people trust you, they like you, they want to do business with you. So always think to yourself, how do I build up my referral database? How do I find those agents that send me deals? How do I go and communicate with the people that I already bought their house and see if they have like-minded people that they would refer to us that are either in similar situations or they just want to sell their property fast because they don't want to deal with it. Everybody gets rid of every single seller that we work with after the transaction. It's a huge mistake. Build real relationships in this and get it to the point where you're getting referrals. That's what's going to take your profitability through the roof. So it starts out prospecting, then you get into marketing, and then into a combination of marketing and referrals. And that's how you build a long-lasting brand and business. So those are my 10, Jerry.
Awesome.
Yep.
I got 10.
Get it.
Want me to get after it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so these are, I took a little bit different angle than you did, and it was more around some of the crisis that's happening in wholesale in the industry. Some of the things that are coming down that are threats. So I've identified 10 threats to our industry and to your business, and then the solutions to overcome those threats. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So first one is that we're all facing is a negative perception in the marketplace. There's an idea circulating around that wholesaling is predatory. We hear about equity theft or deed stripping, these ideas. And we're starting to see this movement that distressed sellers are like a protected class. And really the hot buttons, and Brent, you and I have talked about this, the hot buttons are foreclosure and elderly. Yep. So you got to be very careful there. You got to deal with that sensitively, and you really got to tighten up your processes when you're dealing with anybody in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, or if they're elderly. And the solution there is you really need to over disclose. There are 2 disclosures that we have in all our contracts. One is called an equity release disclosure. And this basically is a statement that we talk about it, and we also get it in writing. But it basically says the seller is aware and acknowledges that the purchase price may be less than market value, and the seller knowingly and voluntarily agrees to sell the property for convenience, to save time or money, lack of funds to rehab, or any other personal reasons, and releases and waives any and all claims against existing or future equity arising from the property. Now, what is that? It's basically you getting you putting that seller on notice and the seller agreeing that they're giving up any equity, and they're okay with that, right? Because they're selling at a discount for a reason. And so this will prevent others from coming back and saying you stole that person's equity, or you ripped off that person's, you stripped them of their equity, that kind of thing. The second one is a profit disclosure, and that basically is just the seller is acknowledging that you're an investor and your intent is to make a profit by either renting, flipping, or signing the contract, right? Like you're going to make a profit, and they know that. So that's something that's, I think, is really going to be important going into 2026. Threat number 2 is there's an attack on equitable interest. And guys, the way to think about equitable interest is it's making money in a transaction before you legally own the property. That's an assignment, that's a double close, that's a novation. And they're coming for it. And they're already doing that aggressively. And we're going to continue to see an aggressive attack on equitable interest. Solution, I think, is you got to get capitalized. You got to start taking down properties. You need to get funding, and you need to be able to buy that thing, trash it out, resell it. You know, I call it a takedown. You can call it a wholesale. But if you're not doing that already, you better strategically start planning to do that. The third threat is an attack from NAR, National Association of Realtors, on off-market transactions. There's a real push that wholesaling is brokering and requires licensing. We have a lot of states now that require licensing in some form or another, either marketing a contract or just doing the assignment in general. Washington State, for example, there's no more off-market there. You have to have agent representation, or you got to buy the appraisal, pay for the appraisal for the seller, and the seller can back out of the contract. So, you know, if you're going to, which is not obviously viable. So in Washington State, you're going to have to get a license and self-represent. It doesn't say you can't self-represent. So you're seeing that movement, you know, so the solution there is you're going to have to get licensed and self-represent. Just be ready for it. If you think you can get away from having a license to wholesale in the future, I think you're, you know, gravely mistaken.
Yep.
Threat number 4 is there's an attack on outbound marketing. There's this idea around solicitations. They call it intrusive marketing. Atlanta has a commercial harassment policy against wholesalers. Texas is really cracking down on cold calling and texting. The fines are massive. And so we're going to see a movement away from outbound marketing and more to, and obviously the solution is to move towards inbound marketing. TV, radio, direct mail, PPC, which Brent's company does, PPL, where the lead is contacting you, you're not contacting the lead. I think we're going to see a lot more of that happening. So, you know, and that's the holy grail anyways, inbound marketing. Whenever you can do inbound marketing, you know, it's going to be better. You're going to have a lot less leads to manage. You're going to have higher conversion rates. You're going to have shorter cash conversion cycles, and you're going to have bigger assignment fees. It's always better to move to inbound marketing. The problem is it's going to make it harder for newer investors that don't have marketing budgets. So we're weeding out the no marketing budget and the uncapitalized wholesalers by this happening.
Jerry, what about MLS deals?
MLS?
Yeah, I mean, if you have no budget, I mean, there's plenty of big companies that, you know, that all they do is make offers on the MLS all day long. Yeah.
So,
you know?
I mean, anything that's so if it's you know, there's zero marketing strategies like working with agents, driving for dollars, networking with other investors, JVing on deals. Like it just means that, you know, you're going to have to find solutions that are not outbound marketing. And when I say outbound marketing, it's really specifically cold calling and texting.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going to be a way to do it anymore. You know,
500, listen, Jerry,
Yeah.
507 class action lawsuits so far this year for real estate operators.
It's a lot. Yeah.
That's up 100. That's up 112%.
Yeah. Now, let me be clear. In Texas, you can still do it. You just have to jump through a bunch of hoops, you know? So like jump through the hoops if you're going to do it, but make sure you're compliant. Yeah. So threat number 6, Brent, is attack. So this one goes along with number 5. It's an attack on phone closing. Actually, let me back up. I missed one. Threat number 5 is attack on virtual wholesaling. I think what's happening here is licensing and regulation. It's making it harder and harder to cross state lines. I mean, I run this report, Brent, and I'm constantly referring back to it. I'm like, what can you do again in Nebraska? What can't you do over here in Virginia? What's going on again over there? I mean, we're now at enough states where it's hard to keep your head around it. And if you're virtually wholesaling, you better be careful when you're crossing state lines that you know what's going on in that state, or you can get yourself into trouble. And along those same lines, I think we're seeing an increase in a lack of trust. You know, with AI and stuff, are you real? And I think it's getting harder to close on the phone, and I think it'll get harder to close on the phone. And both virtual and phone closing, both those threats, I think, are leading to the solution is to close in person. We switched that model a couple years ago. It's been one of the best decisions I ever did. It doesn't mean you personally have to go on the appointment, but you better have, an acquisitions person or somebody that's meeting the seller face-to-face, belly-to-belly, and you're walking out of there with the contract. We will beat every other virtual wholesaler when we go on appointment. Why? It's simple. We can create more trust. We're there. We see the property. We can waive contingencies. We got our head around everything. We know the neighborhood now. Like, we can make some really aggressive moves because we have all the decision. We know all the decisions to make, right? So I think that's going to be a big movement as we're going to move back to closing in person and less on the phones. Threat number 7 is there's a commoditization of wholesaling. Everybody has a cash offer. There's nothing special about your cash offer anymore. So the solution is you have to differentiate. And one way to differentiate is to not wholesale, right? Like, buy it, be the buyer. Sit down with the seller and say, look, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm the actual buyer. And I can put down bigger earnest money. I can waive contingencies. I can close. I can show you I can close. And so now you're differentiating from all the other wholesalers. It's a little bit of a throw the other wholesaler under the bus, which is not cool, I guess. But you know what? It's going to happen to you if you don't do it. So, step up and find a way to be different. Another way to do it is to be different is full service, like offer packing, moving, post occupancy, release cash early. I don't know if you're doing much of this, Brent, but we do this all the time where, we'll make sure title's clear, but we'll release some cash early so that they can do some things they need to do and get to the closing. It's these extra things that go a long way with sellers that will separate you from everybody else out there. Threat number 8 is higher cost per contract. We talked a minute ago about inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is expensive. It costs more money. So I think we're going to start to see a movement into, higher cost marketing spends.
Yep.
And, the solution there, I think, is you better learn multiple exit strategies. You can't be a one-trick pony. If you're a one-trick pony and all you do is the assignment, you're one policy away from being out of business. You're going to need to learn how to not just do low cash, but you're going to probably also need to learn how to do innovation a little bit, some creative, maybe list the property for sale, be able to take it down, do some other things other than just the assignment if you're going to survive. Because now what you're doing is you're maximizing your marketing dollars, and maybe you can get that down to 1 in 10, 1 in 8, instead of 1 in 15 or 1 in 20 on your leads, right, to contract.
Yep.
Threat number 9, we're almost there, guys, is ChatGPT is going to replace Google. And when that happens, then your local market presence will be more important than ever, because ChatGPT, it's going to pull from the presence in the market. Who's got the biggest presence in the market is going to get those leads from ChatGPT. It's going to be SEO, right? It's going to be search engine optimization. Those are the people, not necessarily the best wholesalers, but the best presence wholesalers are going to be getting all the deals when that happens. So the solution there is become a local expert, build a brand presence, do things like Brent talked about, which is testimonials, reviews, your website, like everything you can for the algorithm to love you and like you and look at you as an expert.
Yep.
I think too, going back to AI, sellers are becoming more savvy. They're AI, I call this AI empowered. They can price check ARVs. They can do script objections. They can get rehab estimates. Like, AI is also making sellers' jobs a little bit better, not just ours. So what that means to me is you better be a very data-driven wholesaler. Like, you better have really good data skills when you're interacting with sellers, because sloppy offers are going to get annihilated. You better know comps. You better know repair scopes. You better have proof of performance. Those things are going to matter more and more as sellers get more and more savvy with AI. And I think the last one, Brent, is I think we're going to see a lot of burnout. And, this hand-to-mouth deal chasing is exhausting. And if you're not utilizing a calendar and automation and you got poor processes, then it's going to eat you alive and you're going to run ragged and you're going to quit. You got to know your KPIs. You really need to understand the systems, the processes, and have that dialed in if you're going to survive and thrive as a wholesaler. That's my list.
Jerry, I mean, once again, you just frustrate me at every turn because your 10 are way better than my 10. Every time you do this to me.
No, they're not. Yours are awesome too.
yours are way more thoughtful. No,
Well, mine are doom and gloom a little bit.
So the first one is disclose on the purchase agreement, right?
Yeah, it's protecting it's combating this equity theft idea and being strategic about that. Yep.
And then what is the number one was disclose, that number two is profit disclosure?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have two separate disclosures. An equity release disclosure. They're releasing any claim on future equity. And then you're also disclosing that your intent is to make a profit.
Right.
Now it seems like that should be self-explanatory, but don't assume that. It's not self-explanatory. You're buying at a discount to make money. They need to know that, and they need to agree to that.
Yeah, makes sense. The third is licensing requirement.
The third is licensing. Yep.
4 is outbound marketing.
Switch from as soon as you can, move to inbound from outbound. Yep.
Yep. Is 5 virtual wholesaling, or did I miss 5?
5's virtual, and 6 is phone closing, attack on phone. Those two kind of go together because you do those both together. But yeah, it's crossing state lines and closing on the phones.
Yep. And then everybody's making a cash offer. So that's becoming
it's a commodity now. Cash offers are a commodity. Yep.
You got higher cost per contract. You got Chat GPT, and you got burnout. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible, guys. And listen, here's the thing. The one thing that I understand, and I was reminded this, I had an action workshop in my office, and one of my real estate mentors, Brian North, came in, and he was really talking about, he's been in it a long time. I've been in it a long time. You've been in it a long time, Jerry. The importance of disclosure is everything. Like, if you disclose, that's what solves so much of this, right? And anybody that's out there saying you don't need to disclose, or you can be sneaky in this way or that way, hasn't been in this business long enough. They just haven't been in this business long enough. And I'm not really faulting them, because I understand that, like, you have this entrepreneurial spirit, and you're going out there and you're making cash offers, and who cares? Why do you have to tell them what you're going to do and what you're going to make and what their house is worth? And it's not fair market value, what you're offering, because of the situation. You're making an illiquid asset, a liquid asset. I get it. I totally get it. Just disclose. I'm just telling you, disclose. If you have to trick somebody into doing business with you, you're not a business person. You're not a business person.
And even if it's not tricky, Brent, I used to have this mindset that, like, what I do with the deal is my prerogative. I have the right to a contract. I have a right to my equitable interest. I can do whatever I want. So I don't have to tell you what I'm going to do with it. I used to have that attitude, but you guys, you got to move away from that, because what the regulators are saying is, it's saying for a seller to make an informed decision, they need to know all their options, and they need to understand entirely what's going on, so that they can now make an informed decision. So you got to, whether you agree with that or not, that's how it's looked at. And you have to adopt that attitude. Yep.
Awesome. Guys, we are in now. We'll get off our little presentation mode, and we'll get into question mode, which is our favorite. So thank you so much. I've already got 8 locked in here. So Abyss of Poetry asks, how can I get a mentor? I'm 16 and I'm trying to get into wholesaling. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of free advice. There's paid advice, right? So, like, it just all depends on where you're at and where, how serious you are, if you're in the right place for it yet. There's free, there's paid, there's free groups, there's paid groups, there's everything in between. If you're 16, I think there's a lot for you to learn as a 16-year-old that you don't have to pay for anything. You can learn everything you possibly could about wholesale real estate on YouTube for free. Do your deep dive, make this learn everything you possibly can. My God, you're 16 years old. What I would give to go back to 16 with the resources available today, you're unstoppable if you can learn how to do all of this stuff. So I would say, like, dive into the free stuff, learn that as much as you can, but then you got to take action. You got to get involved. I would join some groups where you're around other people your age, around other people learning and doing what you're doing, interact with them, network with them, make friends with them, get away from all your buddies that are playing video games and drinking beer or whatever, like you got to get around the right people. You got to get around the right education. And then the only other way around any of this is you got to take action. You got to start picking up the phone and talking to people. But
That's
make
right.
no mistake, as a 16-year-old, none of this is overly complicated for you. None of this is something that is too advanced for a 16-year-old. This is literally, wholesale real estate is literally like third grade math. It's not complicated. It's just, do you have the grit and the persistence? That's all. If you got that, you're going to do fine.
Yeah, and I think, go to some local meetups
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's somebody that you feel has good vibes, good energy, and is excited to work with you and show you the ropes. I think it's important to be around people that are doing this business. You can find plenty of people in the group here in the chat. There's probably some decent discords. I really like John Johnson's Discord. He does a great job, and he's just got a great heart for the business. And so I would look up John Johnson's Discord. It shouldn't be hard to find him and connect there, and just make sure that you understand that there has to be there has to be people actually doing business in the group. There has to be, right? So yeah, there you go. Right here. What is the difference between wholesaling land versus houses? Do you guys prefer one over the other?
I mean, they're just two different business models, really. I mean, one's houses, one's land. The nice thing about land is you don't have to worry about repair. So you're not trying to figure out condition of a property. You're trying to figure out land value and use of that land. The only value in land is the use of the land. So when I look at land, I look at a couple of different buyers. One is going to be a spec flipper. That's what I like to do. They're going to buy it. It's going to be like an infill lot or a development lot. And the idea there is they're going to build a new house on it and sell it for a profit. You bring it to that developer or builder, and they're going to want it. You can have what I call land bankers. These are investors that like to sit on land. They got money. They park it in the land. It's usually like an up and coming area or an up and coming location. You've got your recreational buyers. These are more rural. And they're buying land so that they can go four-wheeler on the weekends or go fishing there or hunting or whatever. And maybe they put a trailer on it or something, but they're not, it's more of a fun thing. And so that's one. And I think there's a fourth one too. Maybe not. But like those are your different land opportunities. And now your job is to figure out, okay, well, what's the right use of this land opportunity I'm looking at? Who is my buyer? And then what are they willing to pay? And then just like normal real estate, normal wholesaling, buy at a discount.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, listen, with land, typically there's going to be a smaller group of buyers, but they're going to know the area, especially if it's infill land, which is awesome. I highly suggest you do it in town. But there's some awesome techniques for finding land in the middle of nowhere and doing some cool land business that way as well. So if you're interested in land, if you're trying to get like big deals, it's going to be in town. If you're looking to just like kind of get your feet wet with land and find some, like get a lot of response from whatever marketing you're doing, go in the middle of nowhere and people will just give you the land. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Here we go. I have a deal under contract. This would be my first deal ever. I've been working so hard for 2 months, but it's 2 mobile homes on one lot. How do I comp something like this? And is it a good wholesale?
Well, that's kind of a unique, odd situation, and you're going to run into that all the time. The way I look at this is like, if something is hard to comp or impossible to comp, then that means you have to guess on value because you don't have 5 comps with 2 mobile homes on one lot to look at to get a really good understanding of value. The harder it is to value something, the more of a gamble it is on what that value is. So you just have to be really aggressive on that. Like I would look at that and I would say, I really don't know what the value is because I can't find data to support it. So I'm going to go in ultra conservative. And if I get the deal at that number, then I can't go wrong because I'm buying it so cheap. That's how you treat odd things like that. You got to just kind of be, you got to treat it that way because you don't know what the real value is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, remember this 1978, that's like the cutoff for conventional loans for mobile homes. And so if it's after that, it's a bigger pool of buyers once it's fixed up and going out to, somebody that's going to live in that property or own it for a long time and rent it out, whatever it is. So if it's under 1978, it's all cash. You know what I mean? And you have to see if those mobile homes are going to be salvageable, right? And so it's just remember that when it comes to mobile homes. Boom. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted here. There's been some nonsense in the chat, and I'm just trying to I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible here. I'm using 40%, but I'll increase to 50% moving forward for rehab and original condition. That's right. Here we go. Syed, I have a deal under contract. We got that one. Here we go. Tiki asks, do you have a script I can use for direct to sellers?
I do. Sure. Now, word of caution, don't read a script like a robot or it won't work. You really want to find your own voice. Use a script more like a guide, give you some parameters, give you some things to say and how to handle objections, that type of thing. But you really want to practice that a lot, role play a lot, call a lot. It doesn't, after you do this for 1,000 times, it'll become second nature. But you really want to find your voice, be authentic, be real, and use a script as like a guideline more than word for word.
Yeah. Tiki, ttpinsider.com, ttpinsider.com. We have a ton of scripts, a ton of resources for you if you want to check that out for anybody. Jerry's got his there as well. I'll type this in. I would go into both of them, and you will have so many resources that you can implement right away. Again, like Jerry was saying, you could start off in this thing totally free. You know what I mean? Get your first deals rolling, get the momentum going, and then decide what tribe, what community you want to join. And I think it's critical. I think it's absolutely critical to find a group of people that are doing amazing things. I think that's the biggest point of it. I've never fallen in love with the guru or the coach or anything like that. I want to see who's in it and who's really doing work. It reminds me when I joined the Mike Ferry organization when I was a real estate agent. Mike Ferry was great, and I thought he was cool. But then I went to an event, and all these people are dressed up, and they're hugging each other, and they're loving each other, and they're all doing 4, 5, 6 transactions a month. And I was like, holy cow, this is the place that I want to be. So that's what you're looking for there for sure. Let me get you a question. I'll put TTP Insider. There you go, Jerry.
Do you ever double close? Yeah, double close all the time. Yeah, I have one Thursday that we're double closing. Yeah, double closings, if you can do an assignment, then why double close? You just pick up extra fees, right? Because you got to pay closing fees when you buy on transaction 1, and you got to pay closing fees again on transaction 2, and maybe transactional funding. So I'll double close strategically if I intentionally want to create that barrier so that seller and my end buyer don't see the numbers. The reason why I'm closing this one on Thursday is there's an agent involved, and I'm helping a student on the deal, and there was a renegotiation involved, and there's 3 other deals under contract with this same agent. It's off market, so it's pocket listing, and my student does not want that agent seeing that $12,500 assignment to jeopardize everything else they have going on. And so, we're double closing that one. So, there's reasons like that. If it's a bank property, you're not allowed to do the assignments on those. So you better be prepared to double close. And I think you should just be double closing some deals anyway, just so that you can keep building those relationships with transactional lenders, so that when the assignment gets tightened up, if double close is your second option, then you've got the ability to do that. You're ready for that. And we provide transactional funding, too. So you gotta be ready for all of that. Like, if you don't have the ability to double close, then you're handicapped in this business.
Why you double close? Will you explain what a double close is?
Yeah. So a double close just means you're going to have 2 back-to-back closings. Closing 1 is going to be between the seller and you, wholesaler. So you're the buyer. And then when you recontract with your new end buyer, you're going to have a second closing that happens, same day, next day. And now you're the seller because you closed and took title, even for just a minute. Now you're the seller. And so transaction number 2 You're the seller and the cash buyer is the buyer. So you're doing 2 closings back to back from each other.
Jerry, David B wants to know, why would he pay
good.
you?
He keeps
Why
asking.
would he pay you to find you deals?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to bring
why
this
are you
up.
trying to make people pay you money to find wholesale deals?
Yeah, so I have a finder program called 10K Club. The deposit to get into the program is $1,000. It is a deposit. You get that back on your first deal. And the purpose for having that is it's a barrier to entry to get into the program, because it's a lot of work and a lot of resources for us to have the program open. I got underwriters. We have to look at every single one of these deals, and we work with these students, and it's a lot. So if you come in the program and you don't do anything, then you don't get your deposit back. If you do something, then you get your deposit back. Either submit one deal for 90 days, and if you don't make money, we'll give it back to you, because clearly you're making an effort. And if you do get a deal, then you get it back that way too. So that's all it is. It's a filtering process to offset all the cost and time and energy for us to have the program open.
There you go. Yeah. And listen, people that close the deals and Jerry buys them, he gives them 10K, and it's a big check. And then he interviews them, and then they get on his YouTube channel, and then they get connections in their local market and all those other things. So listen, I get it. If it doesn't hit you right, then, it's not for you. But
yeah,
Jerry's been doing this a long time, and he's been giving out a lot of money for buying a bunch of deals. I think it's a genius idea.
And you know what? We do some free tuitions every now and then, and it never works out. It's never once worked out. People say to me all the time, well, how about I pay it after I do a deal? Well, if you make zero sacrifice and you come in and you use up resources and you've made no sacrifice, then what happens is you end up not showing up. Okay. So,
Yep.
I mean, we just figured out that that's what works.
Kirsten says, getting started, but live in Minnesota, cold face. Was going to try virtual, but hearing you all talk about it in person, would you suggest trying my backyard or co-wholesaling with someone who can run an appointment? Great question.
Yeah, when you say Minnesota, I'm kind of wondering where Minnesota. You want to be in a metro market. And again, when I say backyard, or when I say appointment, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go on appointment. Excuse me, but you are going to want someone going on appointment. That's the point, is you're closing at the kitchen table with the seller. And I've got no problem with Minnesota. I love, my favorite is sleepy markets like Tulsa, Topeka, Kansas, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Memphis, like the under national median home price. Those are awesome markets.
Yeah, I have some great rhinos in Minnesota that are absolutely crushing it. So Kirsten, I would go crazy in your own backyard for sure. And if it's one of those things where like your schedule doesn't align with you going on appointments, or maybe you're not comfortable going on appointments alone, I certainly understand that. Have somebody that goes with you for sure. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of really great investor groups in Minnesota where you can connect with somebody that will go on those appointments with you, right? Or just go on those appointments for you, no less. So yeah. And Andrew, there's people in the side chat here that are in Minnesota. You're right there, Jerry. Jerry almost died.
Yeah, I'm choking to death here.
There you go. The beautiful evolution. Jerry, are you primarily just into wholesaling? Why not RV parks?
I do lots of things. RV parks are like the shiny object right now, I guess. Like that's all the hype is RV parks.
No, that's Pace is going hard at it, and getting loud about it. So
yeah, I got no problem with RV parks. I mean, I have a 57-acre development here in Sweetwater, Tennessee, by where I live. And we might do a wholesale. We might do an RV park. We might do tiny cabins. We're not really sure. I might do manufactured homes. But no, I got no problem with RV parks. I like wholesale. Listen, guys, why do I like wholesaling? I think you need to have 3 different buckets of money. Fast money, which is 30-day money. Medium speed money, which is your 4 to 6 month money. And your slow money, which is passive income. And you need to make the fast and medium speed money a huge priority, because that is what pays the bills. It brings the money in. That money can then get reinvested into your slow wealth building assets. That's the smart way to do real estate. So I talk a lot about wholesaling. Why? Because that's where most people are at. They need to generate fast money and medium speed money flipping so that they can now have excess cash to do things. If you don't have cash coming in, you can't really grow a business or grow wealth very fast.
Yeah. And also remember, that's a different business than wholesale. Like your portfolio is a different business. Flipping's a different business. Wholesaling's a different business. So it depends on where you want to put your attention. And if you have the means, if you're already independently wealthy and you've crossed that bridge that you're a good steward of money and capital, then yeah, go buy a big asset like that. Go get into something like that. If you've run the numbers right, you feel confident in understanding the risk of the purchase, and you have the time and attention to manage it.
I mean, Brent, I may be wrong here, but if you don't have a really good active income already dialed in, you have no business touching an RV park. Like stop looking at RV parks. If you don't have really good active income, you're not ready for a large, slow, passive producing asset until you have really good active income dialed in. Yep. Is my opinion. That's just I don't know, Brent, how do you feel about that?
1,000,000%, Jerry. A 1,000,000%. I've been in this 21 years and I'd still look at it like, I better talk to somebody that really knows the numbers here and really knows the upside and downside of what's going on here. You know what I mean? For sure. Mm-hmm. Nathan, Mr. TTP and Jerry, the flipping genius. What does your follow-up process look like on qualified leads? They've got the 4 pillars. Guys, if you're not familiar with the 4 pillars, it is condition, timeline, motivation, price. The condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation or what their problem is, and the price that they're willing to accept on it. If they ghost you for any reason, what does your follow-up process look like?
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a really good nurture sequence. Ghosting you is not a good sign, right? And, you really got to think about it like this. Like we think about it this way, 80% of sales are made between the 5th and the 12th follow-up. Now, I don't think it's that bad with inbound marketing. Certainly not. That would probably fit more outbound marketing because, people are in an early cycle of motivation with outbound marketing. And when people start asking me about follow-up, I'm like, oh, you're doing outbound marketing. If you're not set up well for follow-up, then you're going to beat your head against the wall if you're doing outbound marketing. Now, my inbound marketing game, we don't really have a follow-up game. It's not really much about follow-up because that seller's motivated and they're either selling to me or somebody else. They're not sitting on the fence. They're ready to go.
Yep.
So like it takes a whole lot less effort with inbound marketing because you don't have all that follow-up to do, and you're dealing with a whole lot less leads. So, if you're going to go down that rabbit hole of outbound marketing, then you're going to nurture leads for 4 to 6 months. Okay. So like, if they're not answering the phone, you keep trying, put them in a sequence, but eventually if they stop answering, they're not answering, they're, move on. Right. But a lot of it's like maybe. And so you keep kicking that maybe down the road and you follow up with them in another 2 weeks and then another month. And finally, 4 months down the road, you built enough rapport and enough relationship that they say, hey, I'm finally ready to go. And you're their buyer because you've stayed in touch with them for 4 months. Yep.
Yeah. Our process, our follow-up process, Nathan, is pretty simple now. Jerry mentioned it because of inbound leads, but even some of the inbounds just stop answering. And what we have found is like life gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes they have real emergencies. Sometimes they have to fly out of town. Sometimes they are, their phone gets turned off. Sometimes they are, their car broke down. So they're figuring that out. And they're just, they're handling a bunch of things or their family's going through something. So, one is you have to make sure that you're trying to reach out and contact them as much as possible, but you can also pull back. You can also say, hey, listen, I don't want to bug you. We had a great conversation. I don't want to keep bugging you. Just let me know either way. If you don't want to sell the property, I completely understand. Not a problem. But just tell me so that, I'm not bothering you. You know what I mean? So I think pulling away is a great opportunity there. I think that if you're on an appointment in an area and you can stop by the house and see if you can meet them face to face, go for it. But for the most part, if people are just not responding to any of that, move on. Just move on. People hold on to them forever with the hope that it'll finally, come back into their life. But it usually never happens. So don't rely on that at all.
Yeah, I'll never forget a story Cody Hoffine told me where they got this inbound lead and they weren't answering. So they just decided to go drive to the property, and they show up at the property and they're loading the U-Haul. And the reason why they weren't answering the phone is because they were loading the U-Haul. And he ended up, walking out of there with a deal. And so, like sometimes that happens.
Yep. Yeah. It's, I've heard that story plenty of times. And it's, we had one gal that had called us and she was going to, the house was going to foreclose on an HOA lien. And we're going to pay off that HOA lien so it didn't foreclose. But before we went down there, we just wanted to make sure that we actually, it was on the phone that she called. And so we wanted to go meet her and have a conversation, make sure that this is a real person, make sure that, we're actually helping somebody out and this isn't just somebody scamming us. Cause it happens when people just fake that they own a house to try to get money out of you. It really does. It happens a bunch. And so, they were at what's it where you get your blood taken out and they filter it out and put it back into you. Dialysis. Yeah. And they couldn't have their phone in there or something, or they had turned it off, and we're blowing them up. And then, she called and explained what was going on, and it was fine. But sometimes this stuff happens. Sometimes people have bigger things going on in their life. It's not just about selling their house. What's the pulse on foreclosures? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is there way more now, Jerry? Is it the same amount? What are you seeing?
I mean, I don't think it'll ever be in abundance because banks package and sell their non-performing notes to hedge funds before we ever see them. Right. So, yeah. I mean, some trickle through or whatever, but it'll always be hit and miss. I mean, I know there's some talk like, foreclosures are on the rise. So maybe we'll see a little bit of an uptick on foreclosure properties. But, I think it'll always be sort of a niche subset of motivated sellers. It'll never be, or the 07, 08 crash. And I mean, everything was a foreclosure, and you could pick a foreclosure up off the side of the street any day of the week, but those days it'll never go down that way again, no matter how bad the market gets.
Can I tell you my thoughts on foreclosure? This is my experience. It's not even my thoughts. This is my experience with foreclosures. It's one of two things. Either they just bought it within the first few years, and they owe more than what we can offer, and it's just a total waste of our time. We're
equity.
We're not in the Subto world. We're just in the cash offer world, right? That's our business model, right? That's what we focus on. And it's either that they just bought it over the last few years and we have to offer less than what they owe, or it's a family member that has passed away that has a mortgage from years ago that hasn't been being paid by the family, and they're about to lose it to foreclosure, or it's somewhere in the mix of foreclosure when they reach out to us through a website or through a call off of Google or something like that. That's really what it is. And for the most part, it's like 90%. I think you can Google it, or somebody chat GPT it if you would. What's the percentage of properties in pre-foreclosure that get a loan modification? The last time I looked at it, Jerry, it was 90%. 90% get loan modifications. So really you're talking about 10%. And if somebody could chat GPT or search how many actual active foreclosures there are nationwide, that'd be interesting to know as well. Put it in the chat. How many
It's not very much. Yeah. I have a student, Brent, in Oklahoma City, and he door knocks foreclosures. And he told me it's like, 10 this week, 11 next week. You know what I mean? Like it's not this big thing that there's a ton of it to go after. It's not at all like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's somebody put it in the chat. Somebody do a little bit of research for us. I know that you guys are incredible. So just put in there, what is the current amount of active properties in foreclosure? And remember, there's 147 million properties, residential properties in the United States. I thought it was 143 million the last time Mark Stubler and was in my action workshop. He said 147 million. So I'm curious to see what the percentage is there, but I think it's a very small fraction for sure. All right. Alex, are you all seeing a big dip in the market in Florida in the last 30 days? How much should we accommodate on ARV for this dip?
I'm not sure. Are you seeing that, Brent, in Florida?
Yeah, certain markets in Florida for sure. What
Miami's really bad. Miami's one of the top declining markets in the U.S. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, here it is. Quarter 3, 2025. Adam reported about 222,000 properties in the process of foreclosure. 220,000. D. Gardner put 187,000. Can somebody divide 200,000? Let's just cut it in the middle. Let's go 200,000 by 147 million.
The percentage.
Somebody do that math for me so we can get an actual percentage. And Howard put it right. This is exactly right. 10% off ARV. If it's a big project, for sure. If there's a lot of inventory. Jerry, I was reminded that in the peak of the downturn in Arizona, the luxury market in Arizona had an 18-year inventory.
18 years.
In 2009 or like mid 2009 or 2010, it had an 18-year inventory for luxury homes. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Absolutely bananas. Anyway, the higher the inventory, the more aggressive you have to be with your offers and evaluating the ARVs because they are coming down. The way that we look at it is we look at 5% off of the highest sale in the neighborhood is a nice safe spot for the top line. 0.25%. So not 1%, not 0.75%, not 0.5%, Jerry. A 0.25% of all of them in the country, in all the residential properties.
So, Brent, do you want to know the top declining markets?
Yep.
I just had it here. Give me a sec. San Francisco lost 52 billion in total home value since June of 2024.
Yep.
Dallas lost 37 billion. Okay. So it's declined. Yeah. And Miami 25 billion. So San Francisco, Dallas, and Miami have been the fastest declining markets since January of 2024.
And those are probably some of the biggest inclining markets when it turns. You know what I mean?
We'll probably swung at 30%. Yeah. Back in the day. Yep.
Declaration of home buyers. Hey guys, I'm considering transitioning from cold calling to Facebook ads for a couple months with a $3,000 ad budget a month. What's your thoughts about Facebook ads? We love them. We have transitioned my coaching and training to that. Now we do it done with you. It's very reasonable. You can check that out at talktopeople.com/Facebook or done for you, where we actually run the ads for you, come up with all the creative, set it for you. And it's done with my marketing manager that has spent millions and millions and millions on Facebook. So I invite everybody that, if you're in that kind of, $2,000 to $3,000 a month budget, I think Facebook, especially if you're like in a real localized market, I think you could do a lot of really good work there. And it's one of those things that even Gary V's like, hey, if you're not owning your local area and Facebook, you're making a huge mistake. He's really hot on it. It's really interesting. So, talk to people. I'll put it in here. Talktopeople.com /Facebook. Check it out. /Facebook. We'd love to work with you, Declaration. There you go. But I think it's really smart. I think that building a brand presence, I think coupling that with getting 5,000 Facebook friends in your local markets, go into those community groups, friend request everybody, and then post to your own story, I buy houses every single day. It'll blow you up. You will get so many incredible deals. So many incredible free deals just from that. But also while you're coupling that with running ads, we have, well, I shouldn't even say a technique that's going, I'll give you a little, whatever. We're running ads, Jerry, to realtors saying that we want to buy houses on Facebook ads to realtors to build those relationships.
Smart.
Right? And it is.
Wow.
It is
Advertising to do the agent model. Never heard of that. That's genius.
Right. And Facebook, it's super reasonable. I mean, you could spend like $10 a day, $20 a day. It's crazy because nobody's doing it.
That's cool.
Now everybody will do it. No. Scott Allen, how many years do your acquisition guys usually last in your business?
I mean, your guys have been with you forever.
Ryan is celebrating. Chad celebrated his 5-year yesterday. Ryan celebrates his 5-year today.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, but you take care of your people. I mean, you pay them well, you treat them well.
Yep. 80K base plus commissions. Chad, junior acquisition, because he does a bunch of the deals. He's touching a bunch, gets 3% of the deal, and Ryan gets 6% of the deal.
Okay. So they're on a lower commission because of a salary base.
Yeah. And you look at, they do $1 million. It's another 60 grand right on top of the 80, but they push well over that. Yeah. Yep. Guys, if you're interested in some of that Facebook stuff, I have got the best guys. I am telling you, PPCs, Facebook, SEO, Google My Business. It is going to be huge in coming up. I am telling you, and we are building the absolute best. I mean, I've got incredible people in-house here. Jerry's seen them. Jerry works with us.
Yep. Yeah, they're awesome.
Jerry and Brent, been watching you guys 5 years, finally closing my first deal. Not making what I hope, but I'm grateful and blessed. Keep doing the Lord's work. Much love. Congratulations. Listen, when you cross that bridge from faith to fact that you can do this business, it is life-changing. It solidifies that this is real and that you earned it. You did it. It is so incredible. It's the best part. The first deal is the best one. Maybe not the biggest, but it proves to yourself that you can do it. Now do it over and over and over again. Build a real business out of it.
And it doesn't matter how much you made. It really doesn't. I don't care if it's $1,000 or $3,000, whatever, because you went through all the mechanics and you successfully completed a deal. And that's the point, because now you've proven to yourself that you can do it.
Yep.
Now go do it again and again.
This is interesting. So I live out here in South Florida, Miami area, and I've been using PropWire, shout out, propwire.com, to find buyers for casinos, $100 million apartments, $1 million single family, and I email and iMessage, but no responses. What do I do?
Probably stop doing that. I mean, I don't think you're going to be, you're talking some high rollers and you're cold emailing them. That's going straight to their spam. And that's not how you make relationships with that type of person.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would do that. That's all relationship driven if you're going to work with anybody in that category, those categories.
Yep. Yeah. It's, listen, you're talking commercial. You're talking dudes that get paid millions of dollars to be commercial brokers. They're all over the place. If you've got deals for them, that's a different story. But if you're just reaching out to buyers to see what they're all looking. They're always looking. That's their whole job, is to look. But that's what commercial brokers do.
I mean, this is the problem. I have a fundamental problem with this idea, this concept of buyer first, deal second. Because let's say that you get a hold of that casino owner or $100 million apartment guy. You get a hold of Grant Cardone or somebody up there, and what are you going to ask him? Hey, are you buying? What's your buy box? Is that what you're going to ask him? They're going to say, go find me a freaking deal and then call me back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, stop, don't waste your time.
Yep. Oh, I like this. Bailey asks, how do I handle what company are you with? I'm new and trying to get my first deal on my own. I like answering, Bailey. I just started. I'm really new at this. I'm excited about real estate, and I think I can do a great job. Are you looking to like work with a bigger company? Because I know that I can make you a solid offer. I know that I can really take care and really pay attention to the transaction and make it as smooth as possible for you. But are you looking for one of the bigger companies? Because that's not me.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good answer. I think, Bailey, you want to understand, why are they asking that? This gets asked a lot. This is one of the main questions sellers ask. But why? If you don't know why they're asking that, then you're probably going to answer it wrong. What they're really wanting to know is, can I trust you? Are you legit? Are you the real deal? Are you, so that's how you want to answer that. You want to say, look, we're a local mom and pop operation. We're right here in town. We've been here for, a year or 2 years, or however you want to say it. But here's the thing, we perform, we show up, we do what we say we're going to do. And I got a little LLC I set up, and we're just a little small operation here, but we're looking for deals. I'm well connected with other buyers. If it doesn't fit for me, I'll take it to one of my buyers. Really, I'm just here to see if I can buy a house and help you sell a house,
Mm-hmm.
So like, redirect it and really think about, what's the purpose of that question? What's the real objection that they're asking? They want to know if you're legit. And if you're not legit, you need to respond in a way that makes you feel and seem more legit than you are.
Elite Investor Enterprises asks, what's the most effective use of time to close a first deal when you have a limited budget?
Well, I mean, this is what Brent calls hustle phase, man. This is the grind stage.
Yep.
When you have a marketing budget, you get to leverage that budget, and ideally leverage really good lead gen with really high quality leads. And that's going to make your life, your business, your team, everybody's life way better, way easier. But when you don't have that, all that means is you got to work 10 times harder. That's all. That's what I did. That's what Brent did. You got a small budget or no budget. It's go time, baby. You have no leverage in the marketplace other than your hustle.
That's right. Listen, Elite Investor, I hope you're still on here, but mentioning it again, you can go and you can friend request 5,000 people. I mean, you can get 5,000 friends in your local market, and you can post every day to your stories that you buy houses. That takes 7 minutes a week. It takes 28 minutes a month. You post it and people will respond. Go into the realtor groups, go into the investor groups, go into the community. I love San Diego pubs group or whatever, just local groups that you can go in there and friend request people and watch what happens. That's $0 out of there. Now, the key to that is you have to respond when people actually DM you. You have to respond. You got to be available. You got to respond quickly. You got to get them on the phone. You got to have conversations with them. You can't just be like, oh, that's spam, or I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to post and not say anything. You will find opportunities there. And I think in this market, 2025, going into the fourth quarter here in a little bit, I'm jumping ahead in mid quarter three, guys, there are deals on the MLS. There are deals on the MLS that people are locking up every single day. Hugh Boy, who we both work with, is getting deals from agents every single day. Every single day you can go and you can make offers on their properties. And even better yet, when they don't want to sell those properties or the seller doesn't want to go down on their price, ask them what else they have coming up. Ask them what else they have coming up. That's $0. It's $0 for both of those things. You could build a whole business around that if you want. People do. I had Ryan Zolan in, who's agent investor, and he's got a great program. And all he does is set up, have great conversations with properties that he thinks that are great opportunities. And he talks to the agent, and most of the time he gets rejected. But some of the offers he gets through. So it's just a numbers game at that point. So listen, guys, there's so many different opportunities. That's why it's like, oh, they're going to close this down, or they're going to close that down, or there's this regulation, or they don't want you to go after these people because they consider them protected classes, and they don't want you to, make these type of offers or do this. They don't believe in equitable interest, or you have to have a license in Washington, or you have to close on the deals, or whatever it is. Great. It just means more opportunities. It's just different paths. There's always great opportunities to go and serve people that have ugly houses and they don't have the capital to fix them up, to get HGTV, top tier, top of appraisal value. They don't. And by the way, buyers determine the value anyway. There's no equity if there's no buyer.
And, Elite, we're trying to solve this problem as best we can at PropWire. I mean, right now you can search, we've changed some things. You can search 10,000 records per month, download that data for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just go there, do it for free. We have a gold package, which is like $119 a month. You get 10,000 skip traces, which is like a penny a skip trace. It's practically our cost. And you get all this other specialty leads that you don't get in the free stuff. So that's very inexpensive to get you in front of some niche lists and get you in front of some sellers. And there's no excuse why someone can't come up with $100 a month, to get in front of some leads and talk to some sellers and get some deals going.
Yeah, I agree with Voight. Great questions and awesome answers from Jerry
and Brent.
This is great. When markets decline, do the nearby towns go up? I'm thinking of people getting away from crime-filled cities but still work there. I don't think markets really decline because of that. I mean, markets usually decline because of economy. Markets decline because, all of the automakers moved to Mexico to build their cars and moved to, other countries to build stuff. And then the economy collapsed. I mean, that you see that happen all over the place. And then you see some properties, some markets come, kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes, kind of come back. There's a lot of North Carolina and South Carolina and some of these other, areas that were, kind of chugging along that just got massive, they got the new Amazons, or they got the new Teslas, or they got the new, Apples, or they got the new, these big corporations that come in. Arizona, in North Phoenix, we got the TSMC microchip plant. That's a $60 to $100 billion project. Jerry, they just redid the whole 17 freeway from Phoenix to Flagstaff. That was $10 billion. This is 10 times that amount that they have invested in there. Yeah. And there's more chip companies coming here, more of the autonomous driving car companies coming here, more like if you're in an area where the government is pro-business, you're in a great spot. Yeah. Some areas just aren't because they're, they don't need
it. I'm betting my future in real estate on the below national median home price markets. I'm here in Knoxville where we bought our farm, and I got a flip right here in north of Knoxville a little bit. We bought this for 90. We put 50 into it. We put it up for sale, got a VA buyer at 275. They got some concessions and some things, but we're going to do pretty good on that. Now, a renovated home, it flies off the shelf under 300. Like if you can land and be under 300 with a renovated home and I'm not talking Detroit or a depressed market. I'm not talking like low income. I'm talking just your sleepy markets, your Midwest markets and stuff. I think buyers are going to keep going there. And I think there's a lot of room for growth in those markets.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. What's your thoughts? Have you ever done bandit signs, Jerry, or had?
I still get calls from bandit signs that I put out 20 years ago.
What?
In Detroit. Yeah, because I use the sign hammer, so I put them up real high. So it's this long. Yeah, and so they're never coming down. They're going to be there till the second coming. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's great. The rule with bandit signs is it takes about 500 bandit signs to get one deal. So you do the math on what that costs. You got the labor to put them up. You got to be careful of municipalities that don't like that because you can get in trouble for it, and people taking them down and all that. But I mean, sure, they work.
Yeah, I find it works a lot better in the lower priced areas and rural areas, especially. Brent Bowers, who does the Land Shark program, does huge signs on all of his lots, like rent to own or owner finance for his lots. And people just do whatever they want on vacant land. They camp, they I don't know, shoot firearms, they pull out their RVs, they do whatever they want, and those work out really well, and people call those up. And we've had Jenna Hoover in I think she's in Pennsylvania. She's like in a town that has like 1,600 people. You know what I mean? And absolutely dominates with bandit signs in and around those areas. So I think that there is some opportunities there. I would say in Phoenix that they're highly frowned upon, highly frowned upon. I mean, they'll call you up and try to,
interrogate you.
Yeah, I mean they'll beat you up pretty good. Yeah, they'll find you big time.
What we used to do, Brent, in our nicer neighborhoods with bandit signs is we'd put them up on Friday at 4:00 and we'd take them down Sunday at 4:00.
Yeah,
because the municipality workers weren't working the weekends, and so you'd have the whole weekend to run your signs, but then you got to take them. But then we'd take them down.
Yeah, Bailey, it's a great opportunity. When you do see those signs, call them up. Great way to network.
That's a wholesaler marketing
for sure. Or the little signs that are like, hey, this property's for sale. It's ARV 400, price 250. You know what I mean? Call those people up, see what they're about. See if it's one of your buddies. It might be. You know what I mean? That's a great opportunity to call. Listen, you guys can go online and you can go and find properties that are rent by owner on Zillow. Rent by the owner. You could call them up and make offers and see if they're tired being landlords. There's signs out there for rentals. You could call them up and see if they're done being some people that own rentals, they can only miss a couple payments before they're in a real problem. Vacant property for some people is a real
huge
issue. And if they're not renting that thing out and covering their payment quick enough, they'll sell that property to you. So I think that those are great opportunities there. Yeah. I got a couple more here. Jiu-Jitsu asked Brent, in your PPC outreach, can we pick the niche campaign or is it general? We buy houses or land. You could pick whatever you want. Jiu-Jitsu. We have the best of the best. These guys are scientists here. These guys are unbelievable. This isn't a one size fits all. It's a custom build for you every time. That's how you get the best, longest lasting results for sure. Great question. Justin J, who looks like a very awesome.
He's barefoot water skiing.
Yeah, I don't think he has skis on. Barefoot water skier. How can one do high volume investing instead of wholesaling? I just want to do a ton of deals by myself to have rentals.
I'm assuming you're talking about fix and flip instead of wholesaling, because
it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly fix and flip and create an operation there and reinvest that into rentals. Nothing wrong with that strategy. Yeah. I mean, you just got to remember, what's the difference between a wholesale business and a fix and flip business? Fix and flip is a lot of bandwidth. It's a lot of management. You got a lot of money going out, a lot of capital. You don't see a single dime until you sell a property. You got to be able to weather through that. There's some of that out of your control when things sell and close. And that's why I love a wholesale operation. You bring in the money every single month and you sell it, you assign it or you sell it or whatever, and you're done. Yep. So like I like to flip too, but I think you just want to be strategic about how you do all this.
Yep. Jeff Scott, is AI outbound call illegal? I see ads on IG, but I heard TCPA laws are a real thing. Yes. Do not do it, guys. It is nonsense. You will get caught. You will get sued, and it's going to be a big problem, a huge problem. Because, by the way, they can go back 4 years of calls that you made. 4 years. If they catch you on one, they can go 4 years back. Just remember that. And if you just made 1 million calls with an AI bot, and you just started, and they claw all that back, which you have to prove it and show it. You are, and by the way, did you hear this, Jerry? They can go after you personally. They can go after the executives of companies that are doing.
So you can't hide behind your trust and your LLCs and all that.
You can't just bankrupt your company and be cool.
Yeah.
They can go after you personally. Absolutely bananas, guys. Don't mess with it. Don't even it's literally robocalling has been illegal forever. They've had machines doing this forever. It was just recordings. Now it's just a new level of it. Yeah. Really, 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 really be careful with that. It is nonsense. Yeah. Can you report the bots? You sure could. If you're getting a bunch of AI calls, somebody's going to get them. Yep. Corey wants to know if he could join your mini bike gang. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm excited to hear about it.
Oh, on the farm here, we have like 4 mini bikes, and me and the kids wreak havoc in the neighborhood. We drive around in our little gang.
Like electric?
No, just little, Honda motor mini bikes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing we do. They break down as much as when we go out riding, like we break a chain and we're constantly fixing on them, but it's kind of fun. Like if you're into mini bikes, you'll know what I'm talking about, but they're just great. Like I have my 12-year-old has one. I won't let him go. I set it to like 30 miles an hour. So you can't go fast on it because I don't want him to wrap around a telephone pole, but we cruise up and down all the windy roads around here. And it's just like a lot of fun.
Get an electric bike. You never have to fix it, Jerry. Come on. Get an electric bike. It'll last forever. I've got like a whole army of them. We've got like, I don't know, 8 of them at the cabin. They're awesome.
How often do you drive the truck?
The Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Every day.
Oh, you going back and forth to work in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if that sat in the driveway or if you drove it a lot.
No way, man. It's the coolest thing ever. I mean, people hate it and flip you off, or they give you a thumbs up. It's like one or the other. It's crazy. I
send you all my memes about it just to tease you. So it's
I know. Listen. I get it. I totally get it. But it's the best driving thing I've ever been in. It's awesome. Yeah. And it's like it's got like the best crash rating ever. CWH Property says, from both your experiences, would you say more wholesale shops doing $1 million plus a year in revenue are local or virtual companies? Great question. Yeah, that's the right question.
I think traditionally we've seen a lot of virtual multi-million-dollar operations that are virtual. I actually did a really cool series with Rob Wensley with Investor Lift, a year or two ago. And he's got a lot of data because he's got a lot of, buyers at Dispo. So he sees what they're doing or wholesalers. And I never realized this till talking to him that there are $1 million a month operators a month. And what he told me is the $1 million a month guys are typically in 6 to 7 markets. So they're not nationwide. They're very strategic. Yeah. They're in 6 to 7 markets. These are higher price point markets because they're trying to get 40 to 50K deals. All they do is either low cash. Some of them will do only novation. So they target that type of seller, but most of them are low cash. They don't do creative or any of these other things. And they're all PPC. I mean, they're spending $100,000 a month on PPC ads and they're closing a 50K deal a day kind of thing. Right. Yeah. So 250 a week, $1 million a month, and in 6 or 7 markets. And then they usually rotate through a couple markets. So every month or so, they might drop a market, try to pick up a new one. And, that's their operation. I just think we're going to see a movement away from that in the future. I think we're going to be going backwards to a very localized business model. And for all the reasons I talked about, AI, stuff that Brent's doing where SEO is going to be very, very important. Local market presence, appointment is going to be more effective. So we're just going to be, it's kind of like we ran with this whole like work from home, virtual, never talk to anybody model, which was great, an online business. And now we're going back to grassroots where it's like, no, let's have a real conversation with real people and make real relationships. It's kind of going backwards, I feel like.
That's what Google's doing. That's what Google wants. Yeah, that's what Google wants. I think
mom and pop, brick and mortar.
I think a lot of AI is going to go that way as well, because they want to build trust on the internet with businesses, especially, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want the scams going on. They don't want people, just doing everything without meeting anybody, and then all of a sudden they're stuck in a situation where they've got, a purchase agreement with somebody they've never met, and they disappear, and it turns into a mess. So,
and AI's ruining all of that because now it's getting so good that you don't really know if you're talking to a real person. So they're going to offset that by creating a lot more friction for that,
It's exactly right. Yeah, great point. Pamela asked, would you guys mind talking about where and how to get buyers, please? Do you have a resource for that, Jerry?
I'll tell you what, we subscribe to a lot of the really good softwares, and there's good ones, Investor Lift, Investor Base. You can get buyers on PropWire for free. There's some great tools out there for getting buyers, but like my partner, Mark Gabriel in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we get all our buyers from the Facebook groups, and we're active on those groups. We participate on those groups. We go to the local meetups. We treat buyers the same way I've been talking about sellers. How do I know you, see you, and build trust with you? Help me understand what you're looking for. Let me bring you deals that fit what you're looking for. And so we're just very, very relationship driven in a localized way. And that's working really well for us. I mean, we're doing 100K months without any problems. And it's all local buyers that we network with.
Yep. Yeah, I really like Pamela, just real easy. I would just Google hard money lenders in your area. They have the lists of all of the buyers, their buyers themselves. They have their own list. They wholesale to their own buyers, make a little bit extra on each deal. That's a phenomenal resource. I would see where the foreclosure auctions are in your area, whether it's at an attorney's office or down at the courthouse steps or whatever it is. And I would talk to the people that bid on those deals, because those are really, really, really great buyers and they know a lot of buyers. I would talk to your title company and closing attorneys and see who the best buyers are.
Yeah. Brent, pull up John Johnson about his novation.
I saw that. I will. Yep.
Okay, let's talk about this. I mean, novations have a very high fallout rate when those fees are big. No one complains if it's 15 grand, maybe 20 grand. But when you get up into a banger like this one, think about it. That seller gave you the right to market their property. You marketed their property, white glove service or whatever you told them. Now you're at the finish line and they're seeing you make a massive fee. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to freak out. They do every time. I had this happen to me on one that was $120,000 novation. They lost their mind. And we had to close cash. This was like a Wednesday, and we had to close cash on Friday to get that seller out, or they would have canceled the whole thing and we would have lost the whole thing. Right? So you have to know that anytime you're doing a big spread on an novation, that there's a high likelihood that that's going to go south real fast.
Yep.
Right. And so this is just one of the problems with novations is, overcoming that objection is a big deal.
Yeah. I wonder if it was them seeing it. What do you do, Jerry? You future pace it. You tell them exactly what's going to happen way before the closing.
You're supposed to do that, but again, he says cancel 1 day before closing. So my bet is they looked at that closing statement, saw your line item, and lost their mind.
Yep.
That's what I think happened.
Yep.
Right. So that now they don't want to cooperate. Well, honestly, perform on your contract. That's what you do. Do what I did and close. You have a contract with them to buy it at a price. Close on that contract. You're probably going to lose your buyer. Maybe keep them on the sidelines or whatever, but you better close on that thing or you're gonna lose the whole thing.
Hans knows. Just
there
had
you go.
125K innovation. I had to turn it into cash and take 60. That's
Yep.
right.
That's what happens, guys. You just got to know that's going to happen. Go in with your eyes open, guys. If you're doing novations, if that fee's anything sizable, it's going to become a problem.
Yep.
It does every time.
Awesome. Jerry, great show.
Yeah. Awesome show.
Great show. What do you got going on this week?
Oh, what I got going on this week?
What videos are dropping this week? Are you doing this 10? The 10? That's awesome.
Yeah. So guys, if that was helpful, I'll release that video. I'll do that video, like content around that this week. And what else I got going on?
John says they haven't seen the closing statement. They were trying to find a place to move into and couldn't.
Oh, okay. Well, then everything I said.
Bit more time. Yeah.
Yeah. Extend everybody.
Yep.
But don't be surprised if when they see your fee, you got a problem on your hands again.
I'll just make sure that they know. well ahead of time. Yep. Awesome.
What do you got going on, Brent?
You're dropping that video this week?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's going to be huge.
Yeah. What are you doing this week?
I'm going to do a live show, and I'm going to do a breakdown of your video of the 10 risks.
I made notes on yours, Brent. So I'm going to right back at you, buddy.
This is incredible. I mean, I really, guys, listen, disclose that you're making a profit, disclose that it may or may not be fair market value. If you need a license, get a license. If you're doing inbound marketing or outbound marketing, just understand that at some point you're going to have to transition to inbound marketing. Virtual wholesaling could be a little bit tougher for sure. Phone closing could be more scrutinized. The cash offer, everybody's doing it. So how can you stand out? How can you close these and be the actual buyer? Higher cost per closing or per contract. Chat GPT is coming online. It's coming online fast. Better figure it out and watch out for burnout. It's awesome. Absolutely incredible. Jerry, you're the best. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this incredible journey on Wholesale Hotline. And we're out. Love you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.